So I'd like to welcome everyone to Equity Chat 2.0. Today's guest, we have Dr. Marybeth Gasman, is a Samuel DeWitt Proctor Endowed Chair in Education, a distinguished professor and associate dean for research in the Graduate School of Education at Rutgers University. She also serves as the executive director of the Samuel DeWitt Proctor Institute for Leadership Equity, Justice, and the executive director of the Rutgers Center for Minority Serving Institutions. Welcome.
Thank you. It's nice to be here, Keith.
It's nice to be here for me as well. Get to learn something in the Equity Chat 2.0. So I have the first question. As you engage in equity focused work, what is your walk-up song or anthem?
I remember, I don't know if you actually want a real song or if you
Real
want to
song.
know what I'm thinking. So I would say that one of the things that I have been saying to myself and saying to other people is that remember the power that you have. Don't let other people define you or the power that you have. Remember your voice. Your values, what's important to you. And every morning when I'm getting up, I'm remembering not to let someone else like take my power away or my drive, my ambition for fighting for equity. And that's what I say to myself, and that's what I've been saying to a lot of people who I can sense are really feeling beaten down.
What song is it that you listen to?
Maybe a combination of let's see, I Am Woman, Hear Me Roar, and and maybe some what's that song that Beyonce does with Kendrick Lamar where it's a really good workout song. I'm trying to remember it right now. I can't remember it, but I'll think of it in a minute. But yeah,
But
it's a combination of that.
a combination of the two.
Yes, yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
but it's used to motivate not only you, but also in your conversation, motivating others.
Yeah, because not only am uh, I think trying to motivate myself, I'm a mother with a daughter, trying to motivate my 25-year-old daughter, but also I am around a lot of women and in particular a lot of women of color who are really feeling it right now, are really feeling this moment that we're in. And so just trying to be thoughtful, respectful, supportive, and remind them of their intellect, their power, their values. That we all need to be reminded of that. So I just and that you know when someone's bullying you, and I really feel like right now as a country we're being bullied, that the best thing to do is to walk up to a bully. One of my mentors once told me, if you walk up to a lion, you get a lamb. And I have like really tried to keep that in the back of my mind as we're moving forward. And as I see a lot of people who are really afraid.
And what they need most, what do you think the people that are really afraid, what they need most right now?
I think they need people to listen to them. I think they need people who have privilege to use their privilege to try to fight for justice. I don't think that people with privilege have the privilege to just sit back and let these things happen. I think that people with privilege need to be working really hard. They need to be out there working for others. There have been so many times where the people right now who are being attacked the most have worked for others and have put themselves out on the line for others. I think that it's time for the if people are upset right now about what's happening, they should be stepping up and doing something about it. I think that that's really, really important. So, but for those out there who are really having a difficult time, I mean, I just finished talking with a young man who's queer and a person of color, and about what he's going through, and reassuring them, listening, talking about ways to kind of cope during this time, resources. I think all of those things are incredibly important.
Was there a defining moment or experience in your journey to engage in this type of work? serving and champion for students?
I think one of the defining moments was my own moment in life. I grew up in a low-income family that didn't have access to higher education. And I had a teacher when I was in ninth grade sort of pull me aside and tell me that I was a good writer. And I really hadn't been told I was a good writer before. In fact, I had been told the opposite. And so that experience and his support, his name was Mr. Fix. And in the back of my mind, I'm always like, he fixed me, he fixed me. And he supported me the entire time when I was in undergrad and kept in touch over the years. That really made a difference to me. And when I think about that and how that's how I ended up in college, I ended up in grad school, and it was another teacher who said you should be a professor, and I said no, 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 I can't do that. I don't have the talent to do that. I don't have the intellect to do that. And I remember saying people from poor families don't do that. And he really really motivated me and said nope, nope, nope. Let's redo that story in your head. And so for me, getting though having that mentoring and having that support made me think I want to do that for others. And I think that one of the best things we can do for others is to be generous with the opportunities that we have and open doors for others. I think that we can support people, we can advocate for them, we can sponsor them. People did that for me. And quite frankly, most of those people were people of color who did that for me. And so I think it's really important to pay that forward. It's probably my favorite part of my job as a professor.
To do this work, we must continue to learn. We must continue learning, partnering with others. How do you educate yourself, and who is informing your practice?
So educating myself would be a variety of things. One, I read about 100 books a year. Last year I read 103. So, in fact, I just finished two more this weekend, and I read all different kinds of things. I'm by all different kinds of authors, things that I disagree with, things that I agree with, things that challenge me. I think that's really important. That's one thing. Another thing that I do is make sure that I am in the room with people who are different than me in all kinds of ways. Who, again, I don't always agree with, who might challenge me, who might even make me angry from time to time. Just because our views are so different, I really do try to surround myself with people who are going to make me either try harder to advocate for what I believe in, or even perhaps maybe change my mind because I think we're involving people, right? We should be changing our mind. So I do that, and I really like to have one-on-one conversations with people and kind of go deep. Most people, because I'm very outgoing, they think I'm an extrovert, but I'm really an introvert, and I love that one-on-one conversation. And I always come away learning something. And the last thing I'll say is my mom is 94, and my mom only has limited education. She went to eighth grade, but she's one of the smartest people I know, and she's always challenging me to think differently and kind of keeping me settled in what my values are. And that's really, really important to me. Her love is incredibly important to sustaining me.
Tell me a little bit more about some of the research you're doing right now.
Well, right now I am working on a variety of projects. I have a book that I'm finishing up with Princeton University Press that is focused on how to create the best environments for Latinx students, both at the undergrad and graduate level, and really changing higher education to accommodate different types of learners and different types of perspectives, which will really end up benefiting everyone. I'm working on a new project related to the challenges and also opportunities for faculty of color across the country, early career faculty of color. That's something that I've done quite a bit of research related to. So I'm working on a new paper related to that with one of our the research teams that I work with. And I'm a historian by training, so I'm actually writing a pretty long historical paper right now that focuses on the success at Xavier University in the biochemical, like biochem area in terms of, uh, their long, long history of producing future doctors, future scientists, future pharmacists, and looking at kind of who's responsible for that and how that's played out over time, but from a historical perspective. So those are three projects that are sitting next to me on my desk. So that I'm
Are you
working
behind
on.
or you ahead?
But what was that?
Are you behind or you ahead?
I am
Schedule.
always ahead. Okay, so that is one thing about me is I will say I pride myself on being very, very organized, and I'm always ahead. I'm someone who does not miss deadlines. So I just who I am, and makes me feel good. So
Truly understand that one. We all have a vision of the future we want to live in. What is your freedom dream for higher education, and what gives you hope for it in the future?
So my dream for higher ed would be that it be a place that respects difference of all kinds, that it be a place that is respectful to people from all different backgrounds, and I mean that very broadly, that it be a place that prepares people with not only knowledge but also skills to be active citizens and to be active participants in the United States. I also want higher ed to be a place that teaches people how to think critically and not what to think. I think that that is incredibly important. That's been one of the things that I've felt very strongly about, even with my own daughter, is that I really taught her how to think critically. And sometimes that means she disagrees with me. And that's okay, right? So I think if you teach people how to think critically, that they can make up their own minds about things. And that's important to me. And then I guess in terms of the second part of your question, can you repeat the second part for me?
What is your freedom dream for higher education, and what gives you hope for its future?
Okay, so in terms of what gives me hope, um, as a historian, I know that there are high points and low points in our history, and I know that there is more good than there is bad. I know that. I know in the world there's more good than there is bad. Otherwise, I probably would not continue. I do believe that that the majority of people um, want to help others, want others to succeed. I also know I know because of my research in various communities of color that this is true. And I am hopeful that as we move forward, that that is going to continue to be the case, and that people are going to care more about the livelihood of all of us rather than just our individual needs. And I guess the last thing I would say about that is that, as a mother, I taught my daughter that she is not the center of the universe and that she is just one of many people in a greater society. And I am hoping that we will get to that realization as a country that we are tied together and that we are our individual needs should not be superseding like our needs as a society that works together.
The road to racial equity is long. How are you sustaining yourself, and what practices would you recommend to others, equity vendors?
All right, so I think a lot about this, so I'm going to list them off. These are things that I tell people all the time as I see, especially um, people of color experiencing pretty detrimental health challenges, especially within higher ed. So these are things I would say. I would say that you should get a mental health counselor and go to that mental health counselor at least once a month, but twice a month is great. I do that. I am totally upfront about it. It's one of the greatest things I've ever done. I would say that you should make sure that you eat a healthy diet with a lot of protein and fruits and vegetables. I know that goes back to a long time ago, what we were taught, but I think that's you'll feel better if you do that. I think that you should exercise regularly every week. I would exercise every day. I think you should do that. I think you should take a page from my mom's notebook, which is keep your friend circle small. Have acquaintances, but your trusted group, your friends, keep that circle small and tight. And I think you should surround yourself with people who want the best for you. And those are the people that clap when good things happen to you. Don't have people who don't clap when good things happen to you in your circle. I think that if there are people who don't make you feel good about yourself, and that you might want to remove them from your circle. And then I would say, lean into those that you love, and who love you. Incredibly important. I would also take time away. I would not work yourself into a frenzy. We do the best work when we take some time off. And so I would definitely do that. And lastly, I would just say, if you find yourself doom scrolling or being obsessed with media, social media, traditional media, step back and do something good for yourself, because that is not helping you. In fact, I just read an article the other day that says that when we do this, the neurons on our brain react, and it can really have long-term impact, right? So I definitely would step back and do some things that are for you and for those you love.
I would like to say thank you very much for joining us today on Equity Chat 2.0 and really appreciate the conversation. Thank you.
Thank you. Take care.